Welcome back, fight friends, to the Shadow Fight Podcast. How are you doing today? It is December 14th here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Rolling up onto Christmas. So before we begin, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, a happy holiday season, Happy New Year, happy winter break, whatever you want to call it. Just make sure you do it right. And relax, have a couple bevies, and enjoy friends and family. All right, guys. This might be the last podcast before Christmas. I don't think before the end of the year, but before Christmas. But right after that, I'm hoping to talk to people like Tim and Derek from Lumpayou Sherwood Park, teammates of mine, friends of mine, and they always talk shit, so you know it's going to be a good podcast. And hopefully we'll see. Braden Spartan coming up as well. He's training out in Thailand from Edmonton right now. And it looks like he's fighting every 2 days, to be honest, and absolutely crushing cats. So I'm looking forward to talking with him. Matter of fact, we have a unique history. I'm pretty sure our first time meeting each other was getting into quite a heated argument at a tournament, and so we had a little our little temper tantrum. And I'm happy to see that. I'm happy that we were both able to just talk it out, and then we can do stuff like this. That's my favorite part of the community. So shout out to you, Braden. And I think other than that, I'm looking at maybe Luke Spicer into the new year. But again, this is the world, if not Canada's, definitely the world's best fight podcast. However, the least professional. So all these guests, who we got lined up? Like, bro, I got no idea. I got shit to do. Sorry. But by the way, if you are a fighter, coach, anything, hit me up if you want to be on the podcast, whether it be on Zoom or in person or anything like that. Okay, before we move on, guys, I'm going to give me a gift from you for free. You don't have to pay anything. The only thing it's going to cost you is a minute, maybe less of your time, and I'll accept that Christmas gift. Take your finger. You could easily just, on your social medias, if you could like the podcast, you want to go one step further and help me out, share the podcast with a friend, family member, or foe. And remember, you share it with a foe, they could become friend, and they turn into family, all because you started sharing the Shout Out Fight podcast with a foe or family or friend. Now, of course, 5 stars. This is a 5-star podcast. We aren't a 1-star. We're not a 3-star. This is a 5-star podcast. If you feel like I haven't earned your 5 stars, you're having a bad day, not me. But if you kick less than 5 stars, then it affects more than just one person. Now it affects you and me. We don't want that. So wait till you're in a good mood. Hit me with the 5 stars. I will be much appreciated. And of course, only the real ones subscribe. So make sure you subscribe to the Shout Out Podcast. And by the way, I always want to give credit to my man B Kong. In the words of my man B Kong, only the real ones subscribe. So make sure you subscribe to the Shout Out Fight Podcast. You can like, you can share. Hit me with the 5 stars. The like and the 5 stars take 1 click. You can share and write a little ditty and subscribe. There's another little click. 3 clicks, 1 little write. It takes 30 seconds of your time. You are helping me, the podcast, out massively, and it's free to you and takes less than a minute, maybe even less than 30 seconds. So if you could do that, I would be much appreciated. Thank you very much. And please make sure you check out our website, www.shoutoutpodcast.com, for swag, looking around, all that good stuff. All right. Let's get on with it, eh? Okay, guys, so we're going to talk. I got a lot of stats for here today. The last one fight card, one championship fight card, one Friday fights on Prime. Big fight card. We'll talk about those. We've got the UFC this weekend. I'm not a big UFC guy, but there's some interesting matchups. There's some fun stories. And then the big fight card on the 22nd. So we got all sorts of stuff to break down here today. I'll try to make it not so statty and more talky. Okay, guys. Also, after the 22nd show, I'm going to make a video, and we are going to have the Shout Out Viewers of Violence Choice Awards. Yes, what a cool name. So what does that mean? I want you guys to send me a DM. Don't put it in the comments for your fighter of the year, fight of the year, knockout of the year for sure. So fighter, fight, and knockout of the year, male or female, I don't care. I was thinking of also adding like breakthrough fighter of the year, who's somebody that maybe we didn't really hear of at the beginning of the year, and now we definitely hear about them. Maybe go one step further, Canadian fight of the year, Canadian fighter of the year, or maybe just Canadian fighter of the year. I don't know, but seeing as we're a Canadian podcast, I'd like to be able to do something like that. Now, I'll take these right up until 11:59 p.m. on December 31st. So make sure you don't DM me, and I'll write them down. Even if there's one vote, my favorite was Butterbean. Like, okay, did he fight? Yeah, he fought once. Okay, fighter of the year, sure. I'll write it down, and we'll start. If there's like 30 names, we'll do the top 10. All right. But I'll write down every single vote, and then I'll break it down for you, last place to first place, for the Shout Out Viewers of Violence Choice Awards. God, I came up with that name all on my own. So we'll do that after the 22nd, all right? Because who knows? Let's see what happens next week. There's some big fights and possible some very big results. So let's wait and see. All right, guys. My fighty friends. I want to give a shout out to my fighty friends, Mike Miles. John Mike Miles. I've been looking up to that guy since, well, I walked into his gym first when I didn't even know Muay Thai was a real thing in grade 7. So that was like, what, divide by 2, circumference of the sun. That was about 83 years ago when I was in grade 7. I've been an avid follower ever since. I look up to him. I wanted on his fight cards when I was a teenager. I wanted him to watch me fight. Anyway, I got to have a chat with him, good 10 minutes. I just meant to drop off some shirts at his gym, Mike Miles' gym. And for Man O' War, thanks for all the support, man. I literally brought you shirts because I appreciate all the support. You literally like everything I do. I really appreciate that. And lucky enough, Mr. Miles was in the house, so we got to have about a 10, 15-minute chat, which I haven't got to do with him in a long time. I mean, the reality is when you're kind of at these events, it's all fight stuff, right? Like, I'm busy, he's busy, they're busy, there's things going on. So it was awesome, and I treasured that. That was great. Thank you. Shout out to you, John McMiles. Taylor from MMA Canada, as well as Cody and Steven for having our little watch party, their Zoom watch party for the One Friday Fights on Prime. Steven Dronjek, I'm sorry, man, if I got your name wrong, but he was the guy that just got busted up and looked like he was loving it at Rajadamnern. What was that? The World Series 2 weeks ago, where he didn't win, but nobody's even talking about the winner. And very knowledgeable as well. So it was really cool to talk to those three guys. Cody, Jerome, as always, and Taylor. From the watch party, man, that was fun. Kieran Kettle, as always, I'm consistently talking to that guy about fights and what's upcoming. Lindsay Ray, Top Notch Muay Thai, that's Dale over there. Jade, Neil P., who's also from Top Notch. My man Kyle Messenger. Brett S., who's fighting in Thailand right now. And again, another guy trains at WTM here in Calgary and just seems to be taking like fight after fight. Matter of fact, I just talked to him this morning, and shout out to you. We talked quite a bit. And he was saying, yeah, I finished my session last night, and then my trainer said, hey, guess what you're doing tomorrow? Like, hey, there's the Thailand way of doing things, hey? So good luck. Windsor Muay Thai, Anthony Palumbo, Turkey and Pistols, as always. Han at Combat Fighting Channel. My man B. Kong. James Tyler, who I've become a massive fan just as a friend and as a man over the last little while. Just thanks for being part of my life, man. Stephanie Quigg, I'm a fan as a person, as a fighter, and we have a little back and forth once in a while regarding fights. So go, Steph, go. I'm a fan. And Ninja Jason. I love that guy, man. That guy has no filter. He'll let you know what he thinks. It's great. All right. Shout out. Couple quick shout outs. I want to give a shout out to Scott and Kelly, my students. Scott's also the man who's working day and night at the Muay Thai World Cup, setting up the ring, making sure everything's good, taking it down, setting it home, all that kind of stuff. Like, he's there forever. And Kelly, one of my students as well. Yeah, it's just around Christmas time. Scott's one of my best friends. He lives really close to me. And it's just easy to not stop and go for a beer and laugh. And it's just easy to continue on with life. And I didn't want that. So thanks for coming out, guys. We don't get to do it very often. Go out, have a few drinks, and just not be sweaty and punch each other in the face. And it was just a reminder why I need to do it more. You guys are great people, and I appreciate that. Like I just said, Rob at Turkey and Pistols. Make sure you go check out Turkey and Pistols in Bragg Creek. What a cool store. Music, apparel. I just can't say enough good things about Rob. Robin Finley as well. We've been in contact back and forth a little bit. Yeah, man. Thanks for chatting fights as always. I'm looking forward to sitting down, having a coffee, and having a real chat. I want to give a shout out to Lumpai U Calgary and Chris McMillan. They went up to Sherwood Park for a smoker, came back 5 wins, 1 loss. That's a phenomenal way to finish the year. So congratulations to you guys. I want to give a shout out to Rum and Eggnog. I love rum and eggnog. I love rum. Eggnog, it's kind of one of those things where, well, to be honest, I don't know if you can get it outside of Christmas time. But, man, I drink a lot of it kind of December. So eggnog, for those who don't know, what the hell is eggnog? It's like a Christmas drink. It's kind of what I'd like to think of it. A Christmas drink. It's thick. Has nutmeg in it. Eggs, raw egg, I think. Have I sold it to you guys? Sounds delicious, hey? I don't know. I just taste Christmas. And then when you add rum, now it's the best. So rum and eggnog, shout out to you. I want to give a shout out to the Christmas season as well. My Cubs excited. That makes me excited. Everyone, for the most part, is a little bit nicer. For the most part, it's not. You know what I really love about the Christmas season? So I'm kicked off Facebook. I have no idea what I did. Legit, no idea. I don't understand. I can't get a hold of anybody. I can't call anybody. Nobody's emailing me back about the 10,000 appeals. I don't know how this works. But anyway, when I was on Facebook, you know what my favorite thing about the Christmas season was? I always think of guys like Liam Harrison, because he was just on Facebook, Andy Housen, Bob Carmel down in the U.S. Those are the ones off the top of my head anyway. But you'd always see their Facebook, and it was always, all right, guys, that's the last session for the year. We're shutting it down. The gym is closed. Do not come in here. You're not going to hear from me. I'm taking a good 5, 6, 10 days off, whatever, and I'm going to enjoy friends, family, liquor, food, blah, 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 and just seeing the world shut down in Muay Thai gyms. Okay, that's it. We're done. All right, last session over. Let's get a picture, and everybody sort of shuts down. I like that feeling. Let's all just stop for a minute and let's be grateful and be with friends and family, regardless of what you're celebrating. Who cares? If the world's shut down, then just do the same. Just go be with your friends and your family. So I really like that from the Muay Thai side, the gym side of the Christmas season. Shout out to sous vide turkey. Sous vide turkey. Everybody talks about turkey being so dry. I don't disagree. But sous vide, oh, dude, sous vide turkey is my favorite meat in the whole world. My gym and staff at Arashido Martial Arts, Deerfoot North here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. That is an anthill of a gym, and there's a lot of moving parts. And you guys make my life easier by simply being phenomenal at your jobs. Thank you, everybody. The teachers, the staff, the administration, everybody at Arashido Martial Arts, Deerfoot North. And a special thank you to all my family and friends of the Shout Out Fight Podcast. I appreciate all the kind words, all the support. Good and bad. To be honest, it's sort of the first time that I'm getting, not hate mail, but things are going well if people don't like what you do. So that's okay. I'm okay with that. I thank everybody for being part of this ride with me. It's been a hell of a year. Let's just kick it up next year. Thank you. All right, guys, let's move on. So events, I want to talk about real quick the Primo Canada Fight Dynasty event that happened September 9th in Brampton, Ontario at Red Owl Boxing. So I've now got to commentate at Red Owl Boxing twice. What a gym. Like when you think of a gym, and I've said this before, that you want, you picture, it's a fantasy. You got your, you got a boxing ring. You got all your cardio equipment. You got your heavy bags. You got room. It's nice. You have a pro shop. You got like a juice bar. You got all that stuff that you want. But they also can hold fights. There's stadium seating, and the acoustics in there are awesome. The crowd is awesome. I really like that place, Red Owl Boxing in Brampton, Ontario. What a great gym. Anyway, in the main event, we had Thomas Mandra versus Anthony Palumbo. Thomas Mandra from Ajax MMA, 17 wins, 3 losses, 24 years old, from Ajax, Ontario. 6-time Muay Thai champion, and he was the road to one quarterfinalist who lost to Stephen Opong in a close fight. And he fought Anthony Palumbo, 14 wins, 4 losses, 22 years old, from Airdrie, Alberta, 2-time North American champ and 2-time TBA tournament champion. And I've had the pleasure of commentating both of these guys, and they're great fighters. A very interesting matchup. And, man, the height and length of Thomas Mandra is just something to deal with no matter who you are. Now, mix that also with excellent fundamental Muay Thai, great boxing, good IQ, and that's going to be tough to beat. And Anthony Palumbo, he's had nothing but hard fights and takes fight after fight. And I'm a big fan of Anthony. He's always kind of a cheery guy. He's always smiling and always fighting hard and training hard. So quite a good matchup here, but I watched this fight live, and you could tell Anthony, just could not get past that long guard. Maybe something happened in the fight, like I couldn't hear the sound, so I'm not sure. I don't know if there's an injury or something happened. I have no idea. But just Thomas would not let Anthony in, and just keeping him at bay, keeping him away. And then I think it was round 3, caught Anthony Palumbo with a knee to the chin. And although Anthony is okay, just didn't make the count, but sent him a message, man. Tough go, big fan. I see you fight all the time, and you're fighting world beaters, man. And you say, I'll be back. It's all good. That's the best way to handle it. And Thomas Manja, I mean, where does he go? So he just beat Victor Alvim for a title last time I was out there a couple months ago. Before that, he was fighting in the Road to One tournament, 4-ounce gloves. Bad dude. I'm sure Thomas Manja, if not both, but for sure Thomas Manja will be fighting on the Muay Thai World Cup Ontario show on January 27th. And the sky's the limit for both of these guys. I'm excited. I'm grateful that I got to commentate both these guys, and I'm very excited to see what they do next. I'm definitely watching as a fan. All right, guys, that's that. Okay, let's talk about the last Friday, one fight night, 17 on Prime. We had 8 fights. We had 7 finishes, and the only one that went to a decision is candidate for Fight of the Year. By the way, did anybody finally notice that these cards aren't like 6 hours long, filled with commercials? Like, finally. Like, yes, I got to go to bed as an old man at a reasonable time. Anyway, in the let's get to it. In the main event, for the inaugural heavyweight Muay Thai one heavyweight Muay Thai World Championship, Roman Kriklia versus Alex Roberts. Roman Kriklia from the Ukraine, 32 years old, 6'7", 233 pounds, training out of Gridden Gym, which is also Alazov's gym. Chingiz Alazov, the champ. 50 wins, 7 losses with 29 KOs. That's pretty impressive. 3-time one light heavyweight kickboxing champion. He is the 1 heavyweight kickboxing champion and now the 1 Muay Thai world champion. Pretty impressive. So that, world champion 3 divisions, yeah. Light heavyweight, yeah. Muay Thai heavyweight, yeah, that's right. 4-time performance of the night. 2022 Fighter of the Year, as well as KO of the Year versus Iraj Azizpour, who I like as well. Last 5 fights was Iraj, which he won by knockout. Guto Innocente won by knockout. And he's that guy that can do all that crazy spinning kick stuff. Pretty impressive guy. Murat Aygun, which he won by KO. Andre Stoica and Tariq Cabrez. Sorry if I got that wrong, Tariq. His last loss was to Iraj Azizpour, as a matter of fact, and that was in February 2018, and he's never been knocked out. So this guy hasn't lost in what's about to be like 4 years and never been KO'd. Now, he fought Alex the Viking Roberts from Australia, 34 years old, 14 wins, 4 losses, 6'3" from the Pit in Australia. The Pit don't quit. That's their logo. The Pit never quits or something like that. But that's the home of Toby Smith and his dad, Blair Smith. Who else in the Roy Wills? Like there's a lot of good fighters and just hard as gym. You know what I mean? Like that the Pit don't quit. That's not just a silly fun saying that rhymes. Like that team lives like that. They're hard. Anyway, so this was Alex's first fight in one championship, which again seems kind of weird. And he was the recently crowned WBC heavyweight world Muay Thai champion when he beat Lyndon Knowles, who's the brother of Haggerty's trainer, Jonathan Haggerty. And so that caught the eye of one championship, and he got the call to the bigs. Now, this seems to be a theme, and I've talked about it before. I'm not trying to shit on anyone, but before we move on, why is somebody? Well, so Alex gets dropped in round 1 by Roman, and then I think it's round 2 he gets Roman wins by knockout. However, he does eat a back elbow from Alex, which was smart. Missed an overhand right and comes back with an elbow, and it had Roman Kriglia wobbly. So that was pretty surprising. It was pretty fun for a sec there. Probably got saved by the bell. I think that was round 1. And then maybe round 2. And then that's it. Straight right for Kriklia. And that sends Roberts down. The ref calls the fight. So, man, Roman's so tall, long, lanky. So his straight shots and long, very, very good. Very much like a sniper. Moves like a middleweight against Alex Roberts. Big, strong heavyweight. So lots of hook punches and lots of forward momentum. And Roman was just able to kind of be the matador here, and but still a pretty interesting fight. But again, here's my whole thing. Why is Alex making his debut in little gloves versus the champ for the champ? Like I know this happens a lot, but well, before we move on, here's my whole thing with this. It's hard to follow. Like when you watch the UFC, not that they follow the rankings totally, but a little bit. And so maybe sometimes number 7 will fight number 3 or number 4 will get a title shot. Sometimes that's just how it works. There's matchups or injuries or whatever. But they don't have that system. They have a ranking system in one championship, but it's like they just don't really use it. Like So now Alex comes in, he gets his fight. Is Alex going to come back? Like, it's hard to build a story and follow these guys. And hey, he should fight that guy next. Well, that style versus that style. That would really work good. Like, it's hard to do that because they keep kind of one and doneing people. I mean, I keep talking about this, but like Pampayak is a great example. Maybe he's had more than one fight, but where is he? You know, like they kind of come in, they go out. Tabarez comes in for his debut, fights Rodtang for a title. Boom, he goes. Like this just happens a lot. So it's hard to have it. Maybe as a fight fan like me, it's hard to have a story to navigate around what matchups you'd like to see because you keep seeing guys come in and like they're fighting right to the top, fighting for the title, and then they're gone again. So I'm not complaining, kind of complaining, but it just makes it hard to play the MMA math or get excited for future matchups, in my opinion. Now, the only fight that went, let's move on. The only fight that did go to a decision was Smokin' Joe Nuttawut versus Luke the Chef Lisi. Smokin' Joe Nuttawut, now training out of Atlanta, but from Thailand, 5'10", 34 years old, 72 wins, 11 losses. He is 4-1 in one Muay Thai and 2-4 in kickboxing. He is a former WMC world champion. He is a two-time and five-time defending Lion Fight champion. His last 5 fights were Tawanchai, which he lost. Jamal Yusupov, he lost. Chingiz Alazov, he lost. Yurik Davtin won by knockout, and Giorgio Petrosian. Now, his loss to Tawanchai was a split decision in kickboxing. And wow, that's super impressive. I mean, you damn near won, arguably did win a fight with who many consider the pound-for-pound champ right now. So, weird for him to go back to fight someone, again, a debutant. But anyway, let's move on. Smokin' Joe has beat Sami Sana. He beat George Mann. So if you guys, George Mann is crazy tall, big. For those who don't remember, he's the one that had that face just swelled out. That was George Mann. Just go look. Google. By the way, I like George. He's beat Malapet, as well as Canadian standout Sean Kearney. All right, Luke the Chef Lisi, 6 foot, 27 years old from the U.S., 6 wins and 1 loss in Muay Thai. And again, when you look on paper, this fight shouldn't be happening. Now, I have a little bit of background with Luke, only that I think it was 2018 at the TBA tournament down in Des Moines, Iowa. By the way, phenomenal tournament, hundreds, almost, or maybe 1,000 now athletes. It's like a 4-day tournament. It's awesome. I love it. I love attending that tournament. Getting there and back's a bit of a bitch from Calgary. But anyway. So I was warming up my fighter, and behind me, Luke was warming up. He clearly had a fight, and his kicks, man, were so hard and so loud that people were starting to look. Man, they were turning their back to take a peek at who's doing that. And I'm trying not to because my fighter's up in like 2 or 3 fights. And so I'm just trying to, not to save face, but, we're focused. I'm focused, therefore you're focused. Don't worry about who's doing what. We got a goddamn job to do, right? That's kind of the attitude he carried. But I couldn't help it, man. I had to turn around and watch Luke kick these pads. And there was, out of, 900 to 800, 1,000 athletes, there was nobody there that even came close to commanding the attention he did in the change room, warm-up room, right? This massive auditorium. So everybody can see, everybody can hear, and everybody was watching. So I've been watching since then, and he has beautiful fundamentals, really good classic Muay Thai, as well as the tricks to go with it, but not the crazy tricks, dropping your hands, doing all that. Like it's the tricks within the fundamentals of Muay Thai, and he's been just starching people. So I was happy to see him get this call up, and I know I maybe even in the early podcast when Chris McMillan was co-hosting said, like, I think this guy is someone we should watch. And thanks for proving me right last weekend. Anyway, I mean, what a fight. What a hell of a fight. On paper, it looked like this fight shouldn't be happening. And again, so now Joe Nuttawut's had 11 stints in one championship. And Luke Lisi just comes in, again, debutant. So then you go, well, so the story of the fight obviously was, it was back and forth. And although Joe Nuttawut clearly won a decision, I heard some people say, I wasn't sure, and I don't know about that, or I could see a split. Not me. Joe was putting the pressure on. He was causing visible damage. He was punching to the body a lot. He was the one pushing that fight. Not to say Luke did not fire back and have a hell of a fight and really make a go out of it. I mean, he wobbled Joe at the end of round 3, I think twice. Man, that was a hell of a fight. But, and just some grit, those guys that I was watching the watch party with, like, he's not just pretty Muay Thai, man. That guy's got some dog in him too, and he showed it. And so now, so Joe Nuttawut comes away with a unanimous decision, and he's hoping to fight, which makes sense to me, the winner of Superbon and Tawanchai for the title. So again, if you look at the background, it's like, well, does he deserve that? But I don't even think that is a thing anymore. I mean, these in and out people. I mean, Tabara's fought Rodtang his first go for a title, so I don't know. But when he had the fight that he did with Tawanchai, you think maybe he's earned that spot, right? So anyway, that's what it sounds like he'd like. I don't know if that's what's happening now. Again, Luke Lisi, I don't know. This was again a catch weight, I think. So it's like I don't know. I don't know where he goes from here. So what you end up doing is thinking about Smoking Joe and the people he's fought in the past. Yeah, you know, it's hard to say. But anyway, hell of a fight, hell of a debut from Luke Lisi, and I'm sure we'll be seeing more of him, and he deserves it. All right, another catchweight fight at 150 pounds. We had Samapet Fairtex versus Mohamed Rabah. I'm assuming that's how you say that. And I want to give a shout out to Dan at First Strike Athletics in Vancouver for sending this fight. I didn't watch it, but hey, was this an illegal knee? I didn't watch the fight yet, so I watched the fight first. But anyway, so we had Samapet, 29 years old from Thailand, 5'7.5", southpaw fighter, 126 and 20. The 2012 Channel 7 Tiger Cement Tournament champ, 2017 Thai Army boxing champ, and the 2018 MTGP World champ. Last 5 fights, Gaunar Fairtex, who was, again, he starched him, but not all that long ago, a couple of years ago, was considered one of the smartest fighters in Thailand. Felipe Lobo, which he lost, unfortunately by knockout. Zhang Chenglong, Ritiwada, and Tawanchai. He's fought Ritiwada 2 times. He's beat Kulabdam. If you remember that weird body punch KO thing, I don't know. The eyebrows up. But anyway. Rodlek, Nong-O, Alaverdi Ramazanov, and Apisit KT Jim, who was also in the Road to 1 quarterfinals here in Canada and is ranked number 3 in the division. Mohamed Rabah, 26 years old from Algeria, 150 pounds, 13 wins, no losses, 6'2", so versus 5'7", 6'2". Mehdi Zatout, and he's replacing Felipe Lobo last minute, which is assuming why it was at a catchweight fight at 150. So anyway, Samapet ends up knocking down, or was it the other way around? Samapet knocks down Mohamed, and then Mohamed knocks down Samapet, and there was a massive height difference here. And then I can't remember if it's in the second round or first, but Samapet's on the ropes, and Mohamed just starts letting loose on him and hits him with a punch or an elbow. But he's going down. He's gonna get a knockdown. He's not like gonna get a standing 8 count. Which, by the way, I've been getting a ton of people sending me videos. There's no standing 8 count, or how come they're doing a standing 8 count? How come they're doing a standing 8 count? How come that you guys are sending me video evidence? The reality is, I don't know. You're gonna have to ask them. Like, it's just in the rules. But as far as I got you, Jay. We'll ask them. I don't know why there was a standing 8 count. I'm just going by the rules here. But anyway, Mohamed was falling down. Samapet was on his way down. He was down. He was going to get an 8 count. And then Mohamed just decides to, have a nice meal, have a cup of coffee, call his mom, pet his dog, and then decide, you know what, I'm going to go knee that guy on the face who's laying on the ground. And just goes over and kapow, knees him on the face. Now, I'm obviously being a little sarcastic here, but it was clearly, so was the knee illegal to the face? Absolutely. I do know that you're allowed to hit people on the way down. That's part of it, the follow through of your move or combo, whatever. But he was long down. And you can hear Mohamed's coach, Mehdi Zatout, who's a phenomenal Muay Thai fighter back in his day and only recently retired. And, no, he was hitting him on the way down. He was just finishing his combination. Like, nope. Like, I know you're doing your job, but that's not at all what happened. And then today, Zatout kind of put a side-by-side from the Superlek versus Rodtang knockdown or not knockdown. That was the argument. And compared it side-by-side with the other one. And it's not even the same thing, man. That knee was so illegal. Now, was it going to change the fight? Probably not. I think it kind of put a stamp on it. Like, he was going to get an 8 count, but that knee sort of, that's it, finished the fight. So then you get all sorts of people, I see just reading in the comments, oh, that's illegal. There should be a rematch. They should be an arbitrator and all that sort of stuff. Listen, the only people that feel that way or have anything to even say about it is Muhammad Rabah's camp, that would be Mehdi Zatout, and the fans. That's it. Samapet hasn't said anything. They didn't say anything on the broadcast. You just move on, and that sucks for Samapet. It looked like it was not going to go his way anyway. However, that's not the way you want to lose a fight. That's not the way you want to win a fight. So anyway, Muhammad moves on, beats number 3 in the division, Samapet. All right, then we had Dmitry Menshikov versus Musin Chafi. Dmitry Menshikov from Russia, 26 years old, 5'11", 29 wins, 3 losses with 21 KOs. That's pretty darn good. He made his glory debut in October 2018, and his only loss by KO is to Regian Ursel, and that was for his, I believe it was Muay Thai title in June. Might have been kickboxing just this year. His last 5 fights, he knocked out Rung Rui. He lost to Regian, which we talked about, and that's all I really have, actually, as far as one championship. Musin Chafi from Morocco, Spain, 6'2", very tall, 26 years old, 31 wins, 7 losses, 2 draws. He is the WBC European champ and 2-time WBC world champion, and was a karate kid when he was a kid. Got to put that in there. I'm a karate kid. Anyway, now I don't know much about these guys, but Chafi just came forward like a house on fire. Like, I don't know what's going on, but he was so reckless. His feet were not underneath him. He was consistently trying to move his head out of the way. It was not a good display of proper Muay Thai or just fundamentals being in your stance, like recklessly aggressive and calling on Menshikov. Well, literally, he calls on Menshikov and then gets hit with a 3-piece, and it's nighty-night. So, and again, he literally calls him on, let's go. And then again, ducks his head, does something weird, turns his head to the right, and just ends up staring right at an incoming left hook. And he is out. And if you watch the Instagram at all, which of course you all watch the Shoutout Podcast Instagram, I laughed. When you're going to fight like that, just so crazy, and wave people on, well, I'm hoping you get knocked out. So that did happen. All right, and then we had Walter Gonçalves versus Jacob Smith. Walter Gonçalves, 25 years old, from Brazil. 66 wins, 9 losses with 37 KOs. That's huge. He's 1-4 in one Muay Thai and 0-1 in MMA. So his only one win in one championship was against my buddy Tuso Cruz from Mexico, which he did finish in like 30 seconds with a punch to the liver. He's fighting at a Black Thai CT in Phuket, and he's the 2018 WPMF World Muay Thai Champion, as well as the MX Muay Extreme Champion. Last 5 fights, he lost to Superbon. I feel like he fought before that. Or after that. Anyway. Tuso Cruz, which we just mentioned. Momotaro Rodtang, which was a split decision loss. That was a good showing. And Matt Dahlman, which he won by knockout as well. So he's 4-6 in his last 10 fights. Versus Jacob Smith from the UK, 31 years old, 5'6", 135 pounds, 16 wins, 6 losses, and he's 1-1 in one championship. His only one loss was to Rodtang, and he got torn apart. Owns his own gym, Thai Fist, in the UK as well, and he did make his debut against Rodtang, and that was in May 2022, and obviously just has all the muscles in the world. So, and again, Walter Gonçalves coming in at number 3. I don't know how that works when you're 5, 6, when you're 1-6 in one championship and you're number 3 in the division. But again, I don't know how this works. It's the first time I've ever followed an organization where I sort of felt like it mattered. Like, man, I can't follow the spider webs. Anyway, shut up, Jay. Stop complaining. I did think, so when I was watching this Walter Gonçalves, and go back and watch it, when they're introducing his name, he is taking deep breaths. He is closing his eyes, and he's not really looking up. He's showing all the body language signs of someone who is nervous and maybe doesn't want to be there. He's looking down, really deep breaths, and just sort of, you could tell he's in his head a little bit. And I remember thinking, like, man, he sure looks nervous. Like, I remember thinking that live. And then Jacob Smith, man, completely changed his style from his first go. And he did say he's working on a hybrid striking style for one championship, which is really what it's turning into. That sort of classical Muay Thai is starting to leave a little bit. Not bad or good, just is. And anyway, so Jacob, lots of fakes and feints, lots of quick, fast movements to get inside. But for some reason, I don't know if it was Walter or if it was Jacob, but I thought Jacob was like faking and feinting his way like right up into Walter's grill before anybody tried to punch or kick. I'm like, man, you are sure doing that really close. I was really impressed and also kind of puzzled. Like, are you sure you want to do that? But hey, Walter wasn't doing anything, and then eventually, and by the way, once they got close, Jacob's like clinch game, his knee to elbow game was really good. He was really scoring with those. And then eventually, when they were close enough, Walter tries to throw a right elbow, and you can tell he's locked onto it. He looks up, and you can tell he's concentrating on that elbow. And because of that, he gets stabbed in the liver unexpectedly from Jacob Smith, and that's it. Walter cannot meet the count, and Jacob's the winner. Not a good showing by Walter Gonçalves. Very good from Jacob, especially being able to change up your style so fast. But I was reading on Instagram that Walter, on his Instagram, was saying that he's having some personal issues and he's got to take a break. And in my opinion, at those levels, the personal issues bleed into the become professional issues. They one bleeds into the other. And so he's saying he just needs to get his life back in order. He's going to take a break and get his head right. So, and really, I hope he does. That's always the sad story, to be honest, of a lot of these fighters is they're living fight to fight and they have no idea what happens next. So anyway, congratulations, Jacob Smith, and all the best to Walter as he maybe needs to do a little soul searching. Okay, and then, hey, what do you know about catchweight? We have Edgar Tabarez from Mexico fighting Jojo Ghazali from Malaysia. So Edgar Tabarez, 29 years old, from Mexico, 5'7", 32 wins, 8 losses. He is 0-3 in one championship. And he is Mexico's first WBC intercontinental champion. And he's fighting Jojo Ghazali from Malaysia, USA, 17-year-old phenom, 5'6", 24 wins, 6 losses. And he is 5-0 with 4 knockouts in one championship. And the recent winner of a $100,000 5-fight contract with one championship. Sound familiar? By the way, he mentions that he's got a contract with one championship before he even has his driver's license. I don't have anything for Edgar except his last 2 losses, unfortunately, were to Elias Mahmoudi and Rodtang. Johan Ghazali, his last 5-5 were, oh man, why did I even write this down? Tamerlan Bekmirzaev, my bad if I screwed that up. Samurai Siopal, Sorjor Paikutai, and Padetsuk Fairtex. Ooh, a little bit of a linguistics lesson on that one there, hey? Now, let's talk about the fight real quick. So, a couple low kicks back and forth. Tabarez is right on him. Right when he gets touched on the leg, he's really good at getting to the other leg, the grounded leg, the inside low kick. Now, right off the bat, Jojo hits Tabarez with a body hook that got everyone's attention, man. He tried to punch a hole right through him, and it was loud. Like, we heard it. And Tabarez didn't seem to be affected, but I'm sure it caught his attention. It caught mine. It caught everyone's. And then it was like in slow motion, round one. But you see Tabarez probably he's got good, beautiful traditional Muay Thai, by the way, but his style just does not work for one, but we'll get into that in a sec. So you just see Edgar Tabarez lift his elbows so high. I saw this like slow motion. So if you're watching on the camera now, so I'm watching the TV. I was going to say Tivio. My son calls it Tivio. So I'm watching the Tivio, and he has this high guard. And even me, I look down at Edgar's belly. I see it like, oh, the belly. And Ghazali just rips in a left body hook to the liver, and Edgar falls. He's almost like suspended in air. He shrinks up to a raisin so fast, and then hits the ground, and that was it. He did not get the count. And then Jojo Ghazali, your superstar, your golden goose, maybe of one championship at the moment, comes away with another knockout victory. Now, before we talk about the Edgar Tabarez, do they hate this guy? What did this guy do to one championship? You make your debut against the champ for the championship belt, and again, I know I've said this quite a few times this episode. That makes no sense to me. Like, So he comes in, and by the way, he had a pretty good showing versus Rodtang, but he was ducking under, I can't remember what it was, but he was going to the well a little too much, ducking under those hooks to the spin elbow. And literally, Rodtang grabs him by one hand and slaps him in the mouth with an elbow. And that ends that. And then he fights Mahmoudi as well, ex-champion Elias Mahmoudi. And that guy's a hurricane of martial arts moves, man. He's team all violence. And just crushes Tabarez in round one. And then, again, Johan Kazali, although maybe not a champion, not Rodtang, this guy is clearly a superstar in the making, if not already being made. And just Edgar again fed to the Lions. So out of his 3 one championship stints, it is Rodtang that he's lasted the longest with. Can you believe that? I don't know what he did, but I feel bad for him. But you know what I see, honestly, is when you hear like Tabarez talk about this fight and being part of one championship, and after his loss, he had something, wrote a thing on Instagram, and it's like, I'm happy to be there. I'm happy to represent my country and to be part of all this whole thing. And you can knock me down, I'll always get back up, and all that kind of thing. But it sounds like you're happy and grateful for the opportunity, which makes sense. He seems like a super nice guy. But I just feel like these guys you were fighting are just so fucking hungry. They don't give a shit about, I'm just happy to be here. No. Who the hell am I going to rip apart tonight? How much are you going to pay me? And then who the hell's next? Like, I see the attitude difference where like, man, I'm just happy to be here. I'm part of this. Oh, wow, this is really cool. Thanks, everybody. And other people are just like, I don't give a fuck where we are, man. We are fighting. I want a world title. I want money. I want to go viral. I want it all. And you're standing in the goddamn way. That's how I feel about Tabarez's opponents. Anyway, I like his tradition. I like Edgar's traditional Muay Thai. It's beautiful. It's very nice. But one championship, I just don't think is the place for you. No offense, man. Who am I? I've ever been there. But man, when you fight a guy like JoJo, who again, so now he's 5-0. So who does he fight? Like a lot of these guys don't have a lot of 5 fights in one championship. In my opinion, don't throw them to the wolves. You got one. You got one here, one championship, but they know this, of course. But don't treat him like a fragile egg. You got a nice, beautiful golden egg right there. You want to hold on to that. I'm sure I'm not telling one championship anything they don't know, but again, I mean, it might be time for, how come Edgar's got to take these fights, but not JoJo? You know what I mean? So maybe it's time for him to have a step up. But also, keep doing what you're doing, kid. Take your time. You're 17. That's wild. All right. And then we had a catchweight fight, of course. At flyweight, we had number 1, Nguyen Tran Dinat versus the Bosnian menace, Dennis Piric. Nguyen from Vietnam, 34 years old, 5'6", 14 wins, 4 losses. 2-1 in one championship, 4-0 in MMA, and 2-0 in Letway. So like Burmese bare knuckle boxing, headbutts, and there's like a 2-minute break if you knock someone down or knock them out. They got 2 minutes to wake up, or 5 minutes or something. I don't think you can win by decision either. Like, yeah, it's pretty wild. And he's got some good wins over Mattias Casarino, Italian guy who was pretty big into the Thai scene there, and I think broke his arm. I can't remember who he fought, but broke it pretty good. And I don't know if he's fought since. And Victor Pinto, it's Victor Leo, I can't remember, but I think it's Victor who's the also the RWS commentator. And by the way, I like him because we have something in common. We're consistently doing that on Big Shot, so he gets pretty excited. Dennis Piric, Bosnia Herzegovina / Canada, 38 years old, 5'4", 40 wins, 13 losses, and he's 2-2 in one championship. He lost to Yodlakpet. He beat Tagir Kalilov, who I really like. Tagir is the only guy that I've ever cheered for with MMA or boxing or basketball shorts on in Muay Thai. He's a savage. He fights hard. His Instagram, he's always smiling, wishing everybody a good morning every morning. Anyway, I can always cheer for that. And he's got some crazy fights too. And then lost to Shirzad Kabudov as well. Talking about Dennis. Dennis is a 10-time Canadian Taekwondo champion. 2005 Taekwondo world champion. He had a long stint at the Benchamek camp where apparently had like 70 fights and KO'd Pornsene Sitmonchai in 9 seconds. I'm not sure when that was, but that's a good scalp. 38 years old, man. Absolutely ripped, beautiful low kick. And I know he was training at the Superbon training camp specifically for this fight. And so you saw some spin kicks too. So now it makes sense where those come from. So now D Nat was known for a high kick, and he caught Dennis a few times, but only with the foot, kind of lifting the lead leg and kicking. And if anything, that just pissed Dennis off, and he went wild. And then eventually, Nguyen went for the high kick over Dennis's lead side. So as he twists the block, it sets up the left hook, right? And so he did. He blocked the kick, and before Nguyen can get back to his stance, perfect. He throws the lead hook to the top of the head and gets the knockout. So where does Dennis Puric go from here? I know last year he called out Rodtang literally like, "Where are you, bitch?" Like, like literally said that, or like, "I'm right here, bitch," or something like that. You're now 3-2-1. You fought Yadlik Pet. You fought Tagir. I'm on board. I'd like to see that fight. So Dennis Puric versus Rodtang. Let's do it. All right, and then another catchweight. We had Tong Poon versus Ellis Barboza. Tong Poon, 26 years old, 78 wins, 24 losses. He's 3-1 in one championship, training at a PK Senchai gym. And in one, he beat Yang Dam, he beat Pet Mong Call, and tomorrow, those last two, Pet Mong Call and tomorrow, were by knockout as well. Super heavy-handed. Clearly tries to intimidate people, a little bit of a bully even, and very what seems like hot-headed, and what I'd like to think of as a round one fighter. If you can get through round one, you got a good shot. Getting through round one, though, that's tough. And so Ellis Barboza, 23 years old, 5'6" out of the UK. He's 17-5, training in Dubai. So I saw him quite a bit training out of, Muay Thai Muppets with Jason Woodham. I'm not sure if he's still there, but I'm following him for quite a few years. WBC European champion. And he's won 4 fights in 4 months. And so that's what caught One Championship's attention. And he got the call to the bigs to fight Tong Poon. And yeah, he was saying too, like, Tong Poon is, you're not going to scare me. You don't intimidate me. They went forehead to forehead at the weigh-ins. And he's just like, I'm not scared, man. Like, I know that's your shtick. It's not working with me. And it didn't. Ellis did go toe-to-toe, which normally seems like a bad idea. And Tong Poon was landing well. But Ellis just had the better weapons and the better weapon selection at the right time. And then eventually, I can't remember what it was. Here it was. I wrote it down. Then 120, there's 125 left. Oh yeah, Tong Poon gets greedy. That's right, with a big punch, and then you see Ellis left hook, which is Tong Poon's go-to weapon. You see Ellis lean back out of the way, and then just come back with a right elbow and crush him. So he drops Tong Poon, and then 125 left in round 3. Tong Poon eats 3 elbows, and then you can see that was the breaking point for Tong Poon. He started backing up like it was. I don't know if they hurt or he got wobbled but that was the breaking point, and then. Ellis just sort of picks his shots a little bit. You still got to be careful fighting Tong Poon. And then with 30 seconds left, just slaps a liver shot, and down goes Tong Poon. So he wins. Whew, there you go. That was a hell of a fight card, eh? That was fun. Maybe if they can all be like that, they're fun, eh? So a couple takeaways I just wrote down real quick. We probably talked about them. Why do they hate Tabarez? We talked about that poor guy. Where are guys like Pampayak? I know I brought that up before, but Pampai, so he, for the most part, I believe, trains at a Jit Muang Nun camp. Well, there's all sorts of Jit Muang Nun fighters in one championship. Where the hell is Pampayak? I'm a big fan of, and he's not getting young, so I'd love to see that one happen. And then, obviously, Johan Ghazali is your next super-duper star, right? Like we just mentioned. He's hungry, he's young, the eyes are on him, grew up in a Muay Thai family, so... But as we know, it tends to be that 17, 18, 19. There's just so many forks in the road. A little bit of success. Who knows what happens? Of course, we always hope that he just keeps going on an upward trajectory as he is, because the sky's the limit when you're 17 years old doing what you're doing. So definitely going to be watching him, hey? And like I talked about as well, it's hard to navigate the field. There's just so many debut fighters fighting champions and established fighters. There's so many one and done. So again, just when you think of like Joe Nuttawut and Luke Lisi, like, well, kind of both those guys. Besides the Nuttawut fight with Tawanchai, like what would you even do with Nuttawut, really, right? So I really wish they would follow maybe more of a ranking system, or just don't bring in so many one and done, I guess. That's just my opinion. It's hard to follow as a fight fan. 4 of these fights, half these fights are at catch weight, so I don't know if that's like to stop, because we know what's been happening the last year. Like the day of, there's fight cancellations, fight switch, you fight him, now you fight him, you go over there, you go away, we're not going to talk to you anymore. Like, it just kept getting, it was a curse, especially the prime cards. So I wonder if this catch weight is a way to beat the system. That way you don't have to stop the hydration or whatever. Don't know. What's next for Dennis Pierce? We talk about Rodtang. What about Ghazali maybe? Hey, Jojo. Why not? Maybe a top 5 guy. You go. So when you look in the top 5, you have Mahmoudi, you have Taiki Naito. I think that'd be a good fight. Dead Dwayne Lek, Walter Gonsalves, who does sound like he's going to take some time off, and Super Lek. Kickboxing, that's a Muay Thai. Kickboxing division, Daniel Puertas and Kalilov rematch maybe. But I think Dennis has quite a few options out there for him. I think Rodtang would be fun. Smoke Joe, so he talked about the title shot, of course. Other division rivals that he could be fighting, Jimmy Vigneault. Again, there's another guy. Where's Jimmy been? He beat Pet Moricott, right? Like, why isn't he fighting? Maybe Sidichai? Maybe that'd be interesting, right? Smoking Joe and Sidichai. I don't think they fought before. And as far as Luke Lisi, give him another shot and let him fight a newcomer, right? Like, let's see that. I'm beating it like a dead horse, right? Kriglia. What's next for Roman Kriglia? I got no idea. Does he venture into MMA? Like, I don't know, man. I think he could retire, really. Like, I guess if you want to keep fighting, go to MMA. I don't know what else that they could do at heavyweight. They made a Muay Thai World Championship fight for you. They brought in somebody on their first try. You smashed them to pieces. Like, anyway, I'm not sure, but 3-division world champion. I don't know. Hang it up, maybe. All right, guys. Let's talk about the next one championship. I'll make it somewhat quick. But this weekend, we also have the UFC main event, Leon Edwards versus Colby Covington. That's for Leon's title. Should be interesting. Alex Pantoja versus Brendan Royval. I don't have a lot. Shavkat versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Interesting fight there. Colby Covington. So just a couple things here. His only 2 losses were to Usman, and besides that, it was somebody in like 2015. However, since Colby beat Rafael Dos Anjos for the interim title, he's had 5 fights since 2018. I know he had that thing with Jorge Masvidal, but I don't know, man. Should be interesting. Leon Edwards, his only losses are to Kamaru Usman, Claudio Silva, only by split decision. And in February 2012, by DQ knee. So besides Kamaru Usman, his last loss was in 2014. This is Leon Edwards. 2014 by split decision, and before that he lost via knee DQ. Like, that's really impressive. I'm going to take Colby Covington, to be honest. I don't know why. I don't really watch too much UFC, but this is an interesting card for sure. Shavkat Rakhmonov, 17-0, 17 finishes. 8 by knockout, 9 by submission versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Stephen Wonder Old Man Thompson from the U.S., 41 years old, 58-0 in kickboxing, 17-6 with 9 finishes in MMA. I was listening to Ariel Helwani and last week, maybe the week before, and he talked to Stephen Wonderboy Thompson about this, and he just said, listen, like, I want back into title contention. I don't think he'll get there. Shavkat, nobody seems to want to fight. He's in the way. Let's do it. So Stephen Thompson, man, good for him for taking this fight. I got to be real, man. If he wins, I'll eat my own underwear. Don't quote me. And then here's the big one I wanted to talk about. El Kukui, Tony Ferguson versus Paddy the Baddy Pimblett. So that was my terrible Liverpool accent. Paddy the Baddy Pimblett. Tony Ferguson, 39 years old, from the U.S. Interim lightweight champ, top 13 winner, 6-time fight of the night. He's tied Khabib and Islam for the longest lightweight win streak at 12. He's unfortunately tied Elvis Sinisic, Phil Baroni, Hector Lombard for second longest losing streak in the UFC. The only one to beat those guys is BJ Penn, unfortunately. And Paddy Pimblett, 28 years old, from Liverpool, 5'10", 20 wins, 3 losses with 15 finishes. Tony Ferguson as well, 25-9 with 20 finishes. Paddy's last fight was against Jared Gordon, which he probably should have lost, but again, but people hate him for it now. Now, this fight itself, Tony Ferguson. So Tony has been training with David Goggins to get in shape for this fight. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I know David Goggins, and if you don't know who that is, just go look him up. He's crazy. You had to have. He's been on Rogan. He's famous. But here's the thing. I feel like I'm not saying Tony isn't going to get something out of that and the respect of Goggins and the work, and he's going to be in shape. But I also felt like being in shape per se was never really his problem. He always had crazy cardio. I think this is just me. I think this was a bad decision on Tony's part to work with David Goggins. I feel like I don't know nothing. I literally don't. But I feel like if you're going to work with someone like David Goggins, you've got to put all your eggs in that basket. And I mean literally, there's nothing else in your life except that. So I feel like you might put yourself in a position after 6 losses where you go, this is it, man. Everything I've worked with Goggins to break mentally whatever I had in the way. This is it. I literally have done everything, including this. If I can't win, I feel like he's putting so much pressure. I could be completely wrong. I just feel like when you do something like that, you're putting pressure on yourself to say, like, I fucking have to win this. I've put literally everything into this. I have to win. And I just think that pressure is going to crush him. I'm not saying he puts it on himself. I'm just assuming he is. When you're 0-6, your back's against the wall. You're a shell of your former self. No offense, Tony. And then you reach out to a guy like Goggins. I just feel like that is your last ditch effort. And I wonder if he's feeling the same. Anyway, and then we have Vicente Luque versus Ian Machado Gary. Everybody hates Ian Machado Gary as of now, and it's just getting worse. I don't want to crap on the guy. He certainly seems to earn it, though. But all I want to say is that fight is now off. Apparently, Gary has the flu, which is going to make the comment people get even crazier. So that fight is off. But Ian Machado Gary is the sort of public enemy number 1 in MMA right now. All right. That's that. Woo-wee. So that was last weekend. That was the UFC this weekend. Everyone's getting on it real quick here before fight time, hey? So, last but not least, here we go. Friday, December 22nd, one Fight Night 46. Oh, boy, the big one. Where are we at here? Exactly 1 hour. In the main event for the featherweight Muay Thai World Championship, we have Perfect Left, or Left Celebrity. Those are great nicknames. Tawanchai versus Superbon. Tawanchai from Thailand, 24 years old. Southpaw, 130 wins, 31 losses, 2 draws. From PK, he's been with PK Sanchai since 2015. He's the current and defending featherweight world champion, 2022 Muay Thai Fighter of the Year, as well as Breakout Star of the Year, 2018 Lumpini Fighter of the Year, Sport Authority Fighter of the Year. His last 5, Joe Nuttawut, David Kiria, broken arm, Jamal Yusupov, broken leg. I don't know if he actually broke his leg, but God, it looked like it. Pet Moricott and KO of Nicholas Larson. And he's KO'd Samapet, Sean Clancy, Sang Mani. By the way, he was the first man to knock out Sang Mani. Nung Leki's beat Kulabdam. And his only loss recently was to Sidichai. And I believe that was a 3-round fight, but maybe those guys go again. And of course, Tawanchai is in shape. That guy's looking thicker than a Snicker in like the past maybe 6 months. Against legendary Superbon, 33 years old. 5'9.5" from Kun Suk Muay Thai and Singma Win, as well as like his own gym, Superbon Training something or other. Under trainer Gay, 114 wins, 35 losses, and 28 finishes. He was the 1 featherweight kickboxing world champ, the Kunlun Fight World Max Tournament champ, Infusion 2018 8-man winner, 2010 Thailand champion, 2014 WBC Intercontinental champion. In his last 5 fights were Tafen Oskin, beautiful knockout. Chingiz Alazov, where he was on the receiving end. Murat Gregorian, which I thought was a big test for him, and he won. And Sidichai. So he's fought Sidichai, Murat twice, Toby the Weapon Smith from Australia, Singdam 3 times, Sanchai, as well as the kickboxing champ Petatong Pet Fergus, and Canadian Sean Kearney. Now, when we're talking about Superbon, just head kicks. According to Wikipedia, I was going through the list here. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 head kick knockouts according to Wikipedia. 4 left leg, 2 right leg. Clearly, you're going to have to watch out for the head kick from Superbon and Tawanchai, really. All right, so then think about this fight. So what do we got here? Is this the battle of the kickers? So Muay Thai, Southpaw versus Orthodox. These guys can kick, and it's a bit of a different style. Obviously, Superbon, he's got a long body. He can bend his hips and kind of have that sneaky head kick where he fires from in close, as well as disengaging, which catches people. Where Tawanchai is just power, right? Both guys have a phenomenal teep. Superbon sometimes uses his teep almost like a way to get his right knee in as well. And he does have a couple right knee to the body KO. But I'm going to go with Tawanchai, and I think it's going to be the left hand. I think that's going to be the difference. I think the boxing of Tawanchai is going to make the difference, especially the left hand. I just think it's a little quicker, a little hard hitting, and he tends to punch in combinations when he kind of has a flurry go, once he decides to let loose. So I'm going to say Tawanchai, third or fourth round knockout is my guess. I do feel like Superbon gets hit with the hands. So, yeah, I can't wait. That's going to be a heck of a fight. What else we got here? And by the way, what was the last Muay Thai fight for Superbon? I can't even tell you. It may have been a super long time. That guy Superbon has had a super Muay Thai fight. Super. And then we have a rematch for the strawweight world championship. We have Tawanchai versus Joseph Lasiri, the Hurricane. Tawanchai from Thailand, 29 years old, 5'5", 125 pounds, 340 wins, 52 losses, and 3 draws. That's 400 fights. 3-0 in boxing. He's a 2012 Songchai champ, the 2011 and 2012 Rajadamnon champ, 2014, 2020 Lumpini champ, 2021 one strawweight Muay Thai champ, as well as the 2020 WBA Asia South boxing champ. Joseph Lasiri, 32 years old, 5'7", 43 wins, 13 losses with 20 KOs. He is the WBC world champ, 4-time WMO world champ, 1 strawweight world champion, and he had a performance of the night versus Tawanchai in their first fight. In his last 5 fights, Rodtang, Tawanchai, that guy, Panpech, and Rocky Ogden as well. Now, I just recently rewatched this fight. Not to say Tawanchai. So Tawanchai, I mean, he's knocked out Sam A quite recently and looked great. But Joseph Lasiri had great movement in their first fight, staying outside and making Tawanchai really try to reach inward to get Lasiri, and he just couldn't. And then in very non-Thai fashion, didn't answer the bell for round 3, I believe, but had a bad cut on his eye. So I don't really know the result of that, but if Joseph Lasiri fights the same, I think he's got the style to beat Tawanchai. Tawanchai is quite compact, small, thick, and he kind of waits and tries to use his hands, but he wasn't even close to getting any. Well, I mean, he landed a few good right hands, but it wasn't a close fight. So I'm very curious on this one. I'm going to take Joseph Lasiri again if he can keep that same style of in and out. Well, I'll just take him anyway. Although I do really like Tawanchai. And then for the interim atomweight world championship, we have Pet Jija from Thailand versus Anissa Meksin from Algeria, France. Pet Jija from Mehdi Zatout's gym, 21 years old, 5'3", 206 wins and 6 losses. That's insane. 4-0 in 1 championship and 4-0 in boxing with 3 KOs. WPMF and WMC world champ, Thai Fight 2021 Queen's Cup winner. Yep, and she's so Anissa Meksin from Algeria, France, 35 years old, so coming to the end of her career. 103 wins, 5 losses. Again, unbelievable record. 33 knockouts. 2-time Glory Super Bantamweight champ, ISKA world champion, the Waco 2016 world champ, WFC Euro champ, WPMF world champ, WBC world and Euro champ, Savate world champion, French style kickboxing, Boxe Français Savate, which makes sense when you see her style. She was a Euro, French, and world champion in Savate as well. And I Her last loss was to Tiffany Van Soest, who she's also beat, but Tiffany's now retired. Anyway, good fight here. Pet Jija's all power, man. She can punch and rotate like a dude. And she hits really hard, and she's just starching everybody. Anissa's got that style where it's like the Mayweather combinations of Muay Thai, where she can just go, up, down, up, jump, kick, spin that. Like, very impressive. So this really is going to be a bull versus matador fight, and I'm taking Pet Jija. I just think she's too strong over 5 rounds. Maybe not 3, but definitely over 5. Man, I can't wait for next weekend. And then the big one, the real big one. Bantamweight fight. Nong O Hama versus Nico Carrillo. Nong O from Thailand, 37 years old, 5'7", 265, 55, and 10. He's 10-1 in one championship, and 7-division Muay Thai champ, 2-time Thailand, 1-time Rajadamnern, 3-time Lumpini, as well as 1 championship. 7-time defending 1 championship, former, that would be. 2-time Lumpini Fight of the Night. 3-time Sport Authority Fighter of the Year. And his last 5, Haggerty, Ramazanov, Liam Harrison, Felipe Lobo, Rodlek, all by KO, including Haggerty, but that one was a loss, obviously. Versus Nico Carrillo from Scotland, 25 years old, 5'10", 25 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw. He's the ISKA Intercontinental Champ, 2-time, I believe, WBC and ICO European Champ, and 2-time WMO World Champion. His last 5 fights, Muay Thai, beautiful KO. Furkan Karabag, beautiful KO. Pascual Amoroso, Alessio Malatista, and Sexan. Okay. So, by the way, Nongo, if he loses this fight, this will be his first back-to-back loss since mid-2012 when he lost to Singdam and Pet Bunchu, which, doesn't get better than that. And one time had a 6-fight losing skid in 2010. Okay. Oh, boy. What do we do here? What do we do? I want to cheer for Nongo. I want Nongo to win. Nothing against Nico Carrillo. He's a legend, man. I love legends. Whew. But the reality is I think Nico is going to crush him. Nico Carrillo is looking so big, so strong, so ripped. He's so much bigger than everybody. And just, he's like seems to be like one of those freaks. Michael Jordan, Lance Armstrong, David Goggins, where they're just so obsessed with what they're doing that they're abnormal. You know what I mean? And he says that himself. So looking on a couple of interviews with Nico Carrillo quite recently regarding this fight, he was saying that he's very well aware. This is not just a fight. Nong-O is Nong-O. And the other brilliant thing I think that Nico Carrillo said was, what also sets Nong-O apart is he thinks he's the one and only Thai, or at least the first, to perfect how to fight in 4-ounce gloves. And like, man, that is a super smart comment. You're right. It really is Nong-O. He's figured it out. So, man, this is one of those fights where it's the old lion versus the young lion, right? And I feel like what these fights are made for, because they happen all the time, is these are fights, they're trying to push Carrillo, obviously. And so if you can get past someone like Nong-O, you're there, superstardom. And clearly, I think with their new announcement with Sky Sports in the UK, they're probably trying to set up or hope Carrillo Haggerty in the UK. Why wouldn't you? Right? By the way, I've been watching a lot, and I've been watching a lot of Nico Carrillo lately, just getting ready for this. And man, when he spars, it looks like he pisses a lot of people off. Like he's always got to be, if you're at number 2, he's at number 3. You move up to number 4, he moves up to number 6. He's always just got to make sure he's one step ahead of you. And you can see that when he's sparring some people, he just has no problem going there. And it looks to piss people off, man, and bring up the temperature. And there's even a video out there, it could be really old, of him sparring Haggerty, where Haggerty's just kind of covering up and not really offering much. Carrillo is way bigger. This is sparring. And even Carrillo puts his hands up like, let's go, man. And just kind of slapping Haggerty around. He's guarded, but there clearly look to be a size difference. So, I can't wait. I want Nong-O to win. I think Nico Carrillo will win. Either way, I think either one of these guys fights Haggerty next. That's my opinion. And boy, it's going to be awesome either way. The reason why I am not choosing Nong O is, and Kieran Kettle said it really good on the last one. Right when he got knocked down, he looked old. And he's right, he did. He looked old when he got back up. And the reality is Anderson Silva, I mean, that's just off the top of my head. It just happens. Like once the immortalness leaves, it's like they can't quite get it back. And the reality is this is Nong O's second go at being immortalness. He took some time off and came back. So I don't know, man. I think Nico's going to win this one by knockout too. And he kick her. I don't know why. Anyway, another one. Catchweight Seksan, the man who yields to no one, from Thailand, versus River Daz from Australia. Seksan, 34 years old, 200 wins, 74 losses, 8 draws. He is 7-0 in one championship. Trains at Sor Samai in Bangkok. He used to be the Rajadamnern champ. Defended against Pampayak. Amazing. Gaunar, also amazing. And Tawanchai, who he fought 7 times, and they went 3-3-1. Let's have those guys fight again. Let's have a final decider. And just multi-Rajadamnern Fighter of the Year award winner. WBC world champ, IBF world champ, Channel 7 champion in 2010. 4-time performance of the night in one championship. And again, we talked about this. His last loss was to Nico Carrillo, and which ended his kind of streak of 7 losses in 10 fights. And since then, he's like 9-0 in one championship. River Daz, 30 years old, from Australia, 33 wins, 1 loss. He's 1-1 in one championship, so his only loss is in one championship. Fairtex is where he's training out of in Thailand, 4-0 in glory. He's a WMC Australian champ. I love the Aussie scene out there, by the way. They mad Muay Thai people over there. 3-1-1 in boxing. Oh yeah, that's right. His fight in September, his last fight, River Daz, I'm sure that was September, was absolute madness. And his only loss is to Silvio Vitez. Now, you know what's funny? Again, watching Instagram and checking on these people the last little while, River Daz said, like, holy cow, man, I'm going to fight Seksan. I don't know if I can do that. And he goes, but as the camp goes on, you're like, okay, man, it's good. It's good. And then man, I can't believe I'm in one championship. And no, I'm right where I belong. But, man, when you're saying those things, you're already making Seksan bigger than he is. So, but you know what kind of fight you're going to get with Seksan. And again, I'm hoping maybe on the other end of this, Seksan versus Liam Harrison. I know I've said that before. Love Seksan. I'm going to take him. And then at a catch weight, of course, we have Muay Thai, the elbow zombie, versus Nabil Anan. So real quick, Muay Thai, 204 wins, 44 losses, 4 losses, 5'8". 5'8". Nabil Anan from Algeria, 19 years old, 6'4". There's 4, like, that is a massive difference. Muay Thai, 204, 44-4. That's his record, 204, 44 wins, 4 losses. And Nabil, 34 wins, 5 losses, 1 draw. Muay Thai, several-time Lumpini champ, Lumpini Fighter of the Year versus Kulubdam, who he's had lots of fights with. Thailand champ, Channel 7 Stadium champ. He beat Yodlak Pet in his last fight. And by the way, that was one of the best fights you're ever going to see. That was the same night. Was that the Haggerty Nong O fight, I think, during that night? Go back and rewatch that. Yodlak Pet versus Muay Thai. That's a hell of a win right now. He got knocked out by Nico Carrillo. Fought Kulubdam, like I said so many times. Mavlud Tupiev, Vladimir Kuzmin. And his number 6 last fight was Liam Harrison. Nabil Anan, WBC 2-time world champ, WPMF champ, WKN Intercontinental champ. Ifma Junior Gold in his last 5 fights. Nak Rob, where he won by KO. Superlek, where he lost by KO. Luca Falco, where he won by KO. Pet Ek, where he won by KO. And before that, he had 4 fights on the RWS, Rajadamnern World Series. Man, I don't know. Again, Nabil Anan, so Superlek tore him right apart, went right after his legs, smashed him in the body, and Superlek just ripped him apart. I think that's sort of how it has to be. Like, if you stand around and wait for Nabil, he's going to knee you in the face. He's going to teep you in the grill. Like, he's Dulcim from Street Fighter 2. You got to stay away from that. And I thought Superlek just had the perfect game plan for that. Interesting fight. Muay Thai is what feels like getting to the end. He's been in so many wars. So, but I'm going to... the fact that Muay beat Yodlek Pet in a war in the last fight. I'm going to take Muay in this one instead of Nabil Anand training out of Team Medi Zatut. Almost getting to the end here, guys. And then we have Kulabdan versus Ferrier Aminipur. Kulabdan, left meteor right. Southpaw fighter from Thailand, 25 years old, 75 wins, 25 losses. Two-time Lumpini champ. Two-time Lumpini Fighter of the Year. Thailand Champ Sport Authority Fighter of the Year. His last win was against Tyson Harrison. So that was the guy from Australia who just didn't fight and then left the ring. And then you find out legit shit himself on the first body punch from Kulabdan. Like shit himself. Actually, had to leave. Feel bad for him. Rafi Bohic, no contest due to an eye poke. Muay Thai Ray lost by knockout. That weird punch to the body, but then you fall down and stop moving. But whatever. That's neither here nor there. Ferrier Arminipur, 23 years old from Iran, 5'10". He's 5-0, training out of Tiger Muay Thai. And his last 3 fights were in one championship where he beat Pong Suri, Rambo Lek, and Ferrari, all by wins. So good fight. Aminipur, Iran has a lot of really good fighters right now. I do feel like Kulabdan is pretty hot and cold. So I'm going to take the young gun on this one. Ferrier Aminipur. Not that left meteor right can't do it, but I just feel like he's a little hot and cold. That's just my opinion. Oh, and then we have the debut of the Coco Show, the Road to One winner UK edition. That was Craig Coakley, 27 years old from Ireland at a Dublin Combat Academy. 27 wins, 5 losses, 19 KOs. And he was the winner, and he's making his one debut. But he already beat the guy he beat. He's already beat the guy who was in the finals that he beat, Nathan Bendon, already beat him to one championship where he fought Sexan. So if I was Craig Coakley, I'd be pissed. But the Coco Show. I've been watching Craig for his pad man. They clearly have years and years and years and years together with how close they hold those pads and how fast the reactions are with each other. But guys, that was an hour and 20 minutes of just stats. We talked about one championship last weekend, a little bit of the UFC, and then obviously the massive fight card next weekend. So I don't know if we'll get a podcast out next week, but we definitely will be after the 22nd. I'm hoping on the Monday. And we'll break down these cards. I'll see if I can get a guest. All right, guys. I don't think that might be the last one before Christmas. If it is, I wish everybody out there Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, have a phenomenal winter break, Christmas season, holiday season, whatever you'd like to call it. Go recharge, be at home, all that good stuff, and we'll see you back after Christmas. And if not, well, then we'll have a podcast for you right before Christmas. You got something to do after like 9 a.m. when all the gifts are open on Christmas Day and it's boring. I'll have one out for you maybe then. Okay, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. It was an hour and 20 minutes of stats. I'm not going to lie. I probably should have done 3 shows here, but I'm trying to work on that. We don't have to be here for an hour and a half, do we? Who the hell's got an hour and a half, right? To let you know also, guys, I forgot to push record on my audio for the first 25 minutes. So this has been a 2-hour podcast for me. Okay, guys. Enough of this jibber jabber. Shut up, Jay. Let's get on to it. One championship. I love you. I'm sorry to be a complainer today. Just my opinion. All right, guys. We'll see you later.